Good evening, guys. My name is Drew Camp, and today I will be giving you guys a presentation on the book, The House of Mango Street, and how it correlates with gender as a social construct. Before we get into things, social construct, it's defined as an idea that has been created and accepted by the people in a society class. Some examples of this can be classified as race, ethnicity, age, appearance, behavior, social class, economic class, family situation, gender. This is something that, personally I see every day now that I've actually learned about it. I don't think it's good for society because it leads to stereotyping in multiple ways. I think it's something that we can get better at, and something that if we keep learning and paying attention to, we can eventually make an impact and have a better society around us. Getting into things, gender as a social construct is what this presentation will mainly be about. In my opinion, it's defined as a set of beliefs about gender as a whole and how one's role, status, and relationship dictates each other. Some examples of gender as a social construct and what it can be influenced by can be social roles, relationships, education, public behavior, and marriage. Later on in the presentation, education, public behavior, and marriage will be stated and explained a little more. There's a lot of examples in the House of Mango Street. My thesis, it was this presentation will discuss three things about education, public behavior, and marriage, as I stated. My main purpose on this presentation is to give examples, give quotes, give instances on how these actions in the book, these quotes that were said, can correlate to gender as a social construct, and give you guys a little bit more knowledge on everything as a whole. Getting into things, education, this book, if I had to give the message on this book, I would say, how powerful can words be? There were a lot of deep quotes, a lot of deep things in this book, but three quotes that I picked out. The first quote being, "One day I will pack my bags of books and paper. One day I will say goodbye to Mango. I am too strong for her to keep me forever. One day I will go away." I kind of correlated this to education because of the fact that, number one, people don't really know what she's been through, where she lives, what she wants to do when she grows up. The second quote, "No, this isn't my house, I say, and shake my head as if shaking could undo the year I've lived here. I don't belong. I don't ever want to come from here." Again, this quote kind of, hit at home for me. Education wise, I think it correlated to that just because of the fact that, she's not saying what she's been through, but she's saying she's been through a lot. I think it's teaching us that, as a female, as her gender, she's going through a lot. She wants to be in a better area, be in a better environment. Third quote being, "Many people who live in the barrio can't imagine a life outside of it." Again, I think she's trying to tell us without telling us, you know, she's trying to teach us of the environment she's in, the neighborhood she lives in, what she's going through. Yeah. Public behavior. There were a lot of different quotes in this book that, stuck with me. The three I picked was, the first one, "You gotta be able to know what to do with your hips when you get to them." I kind of feel like this could go with marriage and public behavior at the same time, just because of the fact that, her dancing could be outside in public. She wants to attract a certain gender. I feel like with her dancing and knowing how to use her hips can, really show you what she wants to do out in public. The second quote being, "Those who don't know any better come into a neighborhood scared. They think we're dangerous. They think we will attack them from shiny knives. And they are stupid people who are lost and got here by mistake." I think this can kind of go into education as well. I think she's trying to teach, like trying to make us learn how, people automatically think this neighborhood is trashy, violent, comes with a lot of trouble. And also I think about this in a public behavior way, just because of the fact that you know, when people look at this neighborhood, look at the society, they automatically think these certain individuals act a certain way in public. The third quote being, I like to tell stories. I'm going to tell you a story about a girl who didn't want to belong. Again, this can go into education because she doesn't want to be where she's at. Also, public behavior, I feel like it kind of describes her as a girl, describes her as very intimate, very deep, not afraid to tell you where she's from, what she's been through. The third category being marriage. Three quotes I picked from this is, what matters is for the boys to see us and for us to see them. I kind of feel like this fit in marriage just because not only does it describe that her sexuality is what it is, I feel like, you know, the common sexuality of a female is to like guys. I feel like this sits in that very well. The second quote being, Ninny is too young to be my friend. She's just my sister, and this was not my fault. I feel like this fits into marriage too, kind of in a different way. It talks about her being too young to be her friend, and I feel like on something that small of a scale, if she's too young to be her friend, maybe she's like comparing that to like somebody she wants to marry and they have to be a certain age. They can't be too young, they can't be too old, because like I said, if she's comparing this to this small of a scale, marriage is something a little higher. Third quote being, Sally got married like we knew she would, young and not ready to, but married just the same. This definitely fit into marriage. You know, it talks about marriage in the quote. It talks about how young she is. I feel like all three of these quotes fit into gender as a social construct because it defines, like, again, their sexuality, the requirements of what these females need to do in their life. Again, what these mean, education, you know, I feel like, you know, like her teaching us what she's been through, where she's been. I feel like there's a requirement of how certain females should grow up, and determine like that how they grow up determines how they're going to be when they grow up. Public behavior, I feel like those quotes I picked kind of like stuck out in the fact that, you know, how these females act in public and how they act, it determines their gender, like how they see certain sexualities or how they see certain sex. Marriage, who should they get married to and why? I feel like the certain quotes I picked for marriage kind of, you know, says that as a whole, you know, who they are, as a female gender, who should they get married to, and the things they do in their previous life, or their like when they're younger, you know, how does that determine who they're going to get married to? Conclusion, I thought this book was very powerful. I thought this book was very deep, but as a gender of social construct, you know, I learned a lot. I thought this was a very good lens for this book. I thought there was a lot of instances where, you know, those three categories I picked, education, public behavior, and marriage, I thought a lot of quotes in this book fit those categories. The three I picked for each, I kind of just stuck with me in a different manner. I can't really tell you why. I just thought that they fit really well. And thank you guys.